Jamaica, or Jamaica. Regardless of how you say it, that was what the God of Israel placed in my spirit to say to his people. See, Jamaica is a beautiful island, as you can see in this image. This beauty stretches throughout the country. The culture, inclusive of the people and their warm personalities, the food, the music, the dialect, and much more are awesome. However, behind all of that is a slow but noticeable takeover that has been going on for years and is now sped up as of 2025 into 2026, particularly more so now post Hurricane Melissa. Jamaica is becoming Jamaica. Matter of fact, that is what Jamaica is now. Let's be honest. Jamaica is being plundered by many nations and have been for years. They've also been plundered by their own leaders. The politicians have completely sold out the people right in front of their faces, yet the people remain hardline supporters for political parties like the JLP and the PNP. Parties that are more attached to local and international special interests than the needs of the people. Yes, as a government body, they do provide essential services and key functions, but they're only giving the Main Street population the breadcrumbs and giving their special interests the whole loaf. Then you have countries like China, America, Russia, Canada, the UK, Caribbean countries like Trinidad, Latin countries like Mexico, and even now some Arab countries that have a heavy hand in this small island nation. They're being plundered for their resources like bauxite, partly owned by foreign nations like China and Russia. The country's airline is majority owned by Caribbean Airlines based in Trinidad. The airports are owned by a Mexican company called Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico, or GAP, or a subsidiary thereof. Bill Gates is now a stake owner of Red Stripe, and the beloved KFC is a franchise under the parent company Yum Brands, whose headquarters is in Louisville, Kentucky, in the US. But hold on, there is one more, and this one is major. The major final example is the hotel industry, which is the dominant bread and butter for the Jamaican economy. This industry is now majority owned by foreign nations. This information is easily found by Googling, reading books, or news articles. There are a plethora of sources. So right now, there are key Latin American linked hotel owners in Jamaica, such as H10 Hotels, which is Spain based. They opened Ocean Coral Spring in Falmouth, marking their first Jamaican venture. Then you have Palace Resorts, which is Mexican based. They own and operate Moon Palace Jamaica in Ocho Rios. And then you have Rio Hotels and Resorts, another Spain-based company. They are a major player with multiple properties including Rio Palace Jamaica and Rio Montego Bay, celebrating significant anniversaries in Jamaica. And then finally, you have the behemoth. You have the Playa Hotels and Resorts that is owned by the Hyatt Corporation, which is based in Chicago, here in the US. While they are publicly traded, they acquired Sagicor Group's Jamaican portfolio, making them a massive owner and operator of luxury resorts like Jewel Grand Montego Bay. Now, the list goes on. Needless to say though, Jamaicans are in the hands of people from all over the world, and the only way out, and I mean the only way out, is by doing exactly what 2 Corinthians 7:14 instructs, which says, if my people, which Jamaicans in the diaspora of Israel, you are descendants of the biblical Israelites. It says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land, just like he did our ancestors when they were in Egypt. Now, it's key to note that at this particular time in biblical prophecy, land here represents Israel, not Jamaica. Jamaica is done for, and we can't stop prophecy. Our true home is in the promised land of Israel. This is what was promised to our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's keep going. Now, what is the purpose of me mention all of this, you ask? It's just to highlight the reality that native-born Jamaicans are just occupying the island. They don't actually own anything there. And right now, for the few that own land and houses on these lands, these very nations are coming for them, especially China. You see, when these big nations invest in your small country, they expect something in return. That is usually land ownership and political influence, because that is how you can control the people. My reason for making this video is because in this very moment, when God is waking up the dry bones of Israel as per scripture, which Jamaicans you are, he is sending his messengers to call his people to truth and encourage them to come out of the worldwide Babylonian system and seek him. Now, I had a dream about 2 weeks ago that revealed a prophecy about China taking over Jamaica through real estate and political efforts. Their plan is in full effect, and we must be vigilant. We must pray for Yah to open our eyes to the moves of the enemy, which is Satan, and those he is using for the beast agenda. And you see that flag in the top right corner? That was AI created. It's an amalgamation of Jamaica's flag with China's flag. Now look, I am just a humble messenger. But do not be surprised, and I hate to say it, do not be surprised if China changes Jamaica's flag and incorporate the design of their flag into the Jamaican flag and soon call the nation the Jamaican Republic of China. We have seen what Russia did to Crimea and potentially Ukraine. We have seen what America just did to Venezuela and potentially Greenland. China has had their eye for some time on Taiwan. The nation grab actions of nations like Russia and the US may give China the motivation they need for them to take action and acquire Taiwan. Keep your eyes open. With that being said, Jamaica could very well be a part of that equation, as it is quietly but loudly happening already. There is clearly a land and nation grab going on with the major powers. They all influence each other. Remember also that we are moving toward a one world government as prophesied in the book of Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7, and also in Revelations chapter 13. I highly recommend that you read these scriptures. This is a key phase in this agenda. Each big nation is devouring a smaller nation. Now, let's talk about the dream that led to this video. Alright, a little bit of background on myself. My second language is Mandarin, so it was very fitting for Father's angel to show me a vision of what the Chinese people or government are up to. In this dream, the setting was in Jamaica. Though I currently live in the United States, the dream showed me in a house in Jamaica with my family that I perceived belonged to us. While in the house, a Chinese family barges into the house without identifying themselves and took up residence immediately. They sat down in the kitchen, and a male, who I perceived to be the father, started to point at different food items and was offering it to myself and my family. He pointed to a tin of mackerel and offered it to us, and then he pointed to another food item and offered it to us also. I thought it very odd though, because I started to think to myself, why would you be offering me my food in my own house? After he did this, I said to him in Mandarin, "Do shi womenda," which means they are all ours, meaning the food belongs to me and my family. The moment I said this, they got up immediately and started to exit the house. But before the father walked out the door, he gave a very evil look, and then he left. The next scene of the dream showed the same family in now which was perceived to be Westmoreland, and this time they had a little melanated girl with them who they were encouraging this little girl to pretend to be sick. She started to cough and wheeze as if she had the flu. As she was in the middle of her pretense, she was asking the house owners in Westmoreland if they wanted to keep their house or sell their house. And then it became clear to me what the angel was showing me. China is up to a land grab in Jamaica, and it's going to be massive. And we have to be vigilant because this takeover has been going on for years. Now, the videos I'm going to show that are coming up next is going to show how the foundation was laid years ago and the agreement that was reached between the Jamaican government and the Chinese government. Let's go.
Jamaica, a country of roughly 2.7 million people occupying 11,424 square kilometers in the Caribbean region. China, a country of 1.3 billion people occupying 9.6 million square kilometers of the Asian continent. Jamaica, a country populated by people mostly of African descent. China, a country of 93% Han Chinese. Jamaica, a Commonwealth parliamentary democracy helmed by the British monarchy through a Governor General and a Prime Minister. China, a republic helmed by a president and premier. Jamaica and China, trading associates, diplomatic partners, and friends. In November 1972, Jamaica established diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, the PRC. More than 3 decades later, on July 18, 2005, a Jamaican embassy was opened in Beijing. Today, the two countries enjoy an active, dynamic, and friendly relationship that is marked by a mutually beneficial bilateral cooperation program. It's highlighted by cooperation in the political, economic, and cultural arenas, formalized and supported by constant communication and official visits across the waters. Jamaica benefits from a strong technical cooperation program with China through various economic and technical agreements. Over the past few years, critical bilateral agreements have been signed supporting development in the areas of bauxite mining, tourism, education, transport, sport, and international trade, just to name a few. The Chinese government has also entered into a number of loan agreements with the Jamaican government to implement several important sport, water, road, and housing projects. Jamaica has also received grant aid for economic and technical support and the construction of a Chinese garden at Hope Botanical Gardens. There have also been agreements for concessional financing to the Development Bank of Jamaica and to provide a line of credit for short-term trade financing through the Exim Bank. These are in addition to agreements to supply agricultural equipment and machinery, upgrade the Sligoville community's water supply system and roads, and establish a Confucius Institute at the University of the West Indies. And cooperation between Jamaica and China has also supported the construction of the Montego Bay Convention Center and the Sligoville Sports Complex, as well as plans to erect a new office building for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. National security at the military level is a responsibility taken seriously by both the governments of Jamaica and China. In the PRC, it's a task managed by the Ministry of Defense and the People's Liberation Army, the PLA. The Ministries of National Security and Defense and the Jamaica Defense Force JDF do the job here. The relationship between Jamaica and China's military has rendered tremendous benefits, evidenced by several agreements in just the past few years, providing millions of dollars in support to the Jamaica Defense Force. China has also come to Jamaica's aid in times of national distress. Following the passage of Tropical Storm Gustav, the PRC contributed $100,000 to relief efforts in Jamaica, and the Chinese Red Cross Society contributed $50,000 to the Jamaican Red Cross Society. And in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Nicole in 2010, the Chinese government, through the Chinese Red Cross, contributed $30,000. The social needs of both countries are not exempt from their bilateral dealings and are in fact treated with equal importance. Education is particularly important, and the Chinese government provides a significant number of short courses to Jamaicans in various fields. People-to-people relations between students of both countries is also encouraged, as seen in 2008 when students of the Jesse Paul Primary School were chosen to become pen pals with a counterpart school in China through the Heart-to-Heart Partnership Program. And with a significant Chinese population in Jamaica, it is hardly surprising that cultural exchange programs are often and always welcomed. It has not been a one-way street. For all the assistance Jamaica has got, a helping hand has also been extended in our areas of strength, like track and field. In 2006, Jamaica offered to assist China's athletic program, including the use of local sporting facilities and technical expertise. Jamaica has also offered technical assistance to China in the areas of education and tourism. In 2010, we proposed to extend 12 scholarships to Chinese students in the field of English language, and Chinese nationals are to be provided with internships at the Sandals Resort to support the country's tourism offerings.
Alright, so you heard it for yourself. This video was an interesting find during my research because this was created 12 years ago in 2014. This video touches on every key aspect of how the Jamaican society has transformed today. After listening to it, I had to reflect on the progress that has been made and the things achieved that were outlined in those agreements. I like that the narrator started with key contrasts between the two nations. Jamaica is a smaller nation by size and population, which goes back to Deuteronomy 7 verse 7, when Yah said he didn't choose our ancestors because they were numerous, but because they were the least of peoples. They were a small people. It was he who multiplied our people and added greatness unto them. The narrator also said that Jamaica is populated by mostly people of African descent. That's because we are Israelites, and our ancestors are the ones who came on slave ships in the Atlantic slave trade. Most Jamaicans' DNA go back to Western Africa in Negroland. Alright, note that she said that the relationship has not been a one-way street. She said that Jamaica has helped in all areas of strength, and in that video point you saw track and field. That's because Father made Israel a very strong people. Remember when Jacob wrestled with an angel in Genesis 32? In Genesis 32, 23 to 31, this was a pivotal point in Jacob's life. He sustained an injury in this wrestle, and he refused to let go until blessed, not knowing that he was already blessed as per God's promise to Abraham. His name was changed from that point into Israel. However, Scripture still uses Jacob and Israel to refer to the Hebrews. We are a people who have been in struggle. We are resilient in a struggle, and we will get rest out of this struggle when we are gathered from the nations that we are currently in. She also said that Jamaica is also assisting with technical help to the Chinese. That's because we are a very bright and intelligent people. We are going through our current struggle because of our ancestors and our rebellion and disobedience. Our plight is spiritual. It is not because we lack strength or intelligence, but Yah withdrew his glory from us because we have walked contrary to him and his ways. He warned us in Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28 about this. However, he prophesied that we will be rescued. I will provide a link to scriptures that pertains to the regathering of his people back to the land. Lastly, the Chinese created an institute of Confucius at the University of the West Indies. That is something that should be shunned, because the teaching of Confucius is in opposition to the God of Israel and does not acknowledge him at all, no matter how good it sounds. If Yah is excluded, it is the doctrine of demons, period. We are called to be a set-apart nation or people that follows God's commandments, statutes, and judgments. We are called to be a royal and holy priesthood, not a Confucius. Jamaicans could never go to China and implement the teaching of Yah's way and have the Communist Party accepted. It wouldn't happen. But they presumptuously do it to us, and we accept it. That has been a major problem for our people throughout the Bible. Israel was always compromising and forming alliances with nations around them who served other gods, who would then eventually cause Israel to stray from the God of Israel. You can read much about this in books like the Book of Judges and First and Second Kings. Let's move on. Here in this article by the Jamaican Observer, we see that the Chinese Mandarin language is being introduced into Jamaican schools. This in practicality is totally not an issue. It would actually behoove the Jamaican people to learn such a language and use it to their advantage to gain knowledge and navigate. Like I shared earlier, Mandarin is actually my second language, and it has been quite advantageous, especially in my career. We are an astute people after all. However, that's where it ends. I do not allow the Chinese people to overwhelm me with the other areas of their culture like Buddhism, Confucius philosophy, Chinese New Year, or the popular Shenyuan event, which often opens the door to teachings of Falun Dafa, a movement that is very demonic. So if ever introduced to it, please run. These things can become a slippery slope. You see, language is a critical area of any nation's culture. Once the encroaching nation opens that door, they will cunningly introduce other things. Remember in the video earlier, the Chinese advocated for a Confucius Institute at the University of the West Indies and got it approved. The Confucius philosophy does not align with Yah's teaching. We have to keep a set-apart mindset. Think of the three Hebrew boys, Daniel, Mishael, and Azariah. Though they were in Babylonian captivity, they allowed Yah to provide them with the wisdom necessary to survive in that environment. However, they never allowed themselves to be compromised by the ways of the Babylonian pagans. They stayed loyal to Yah and his set-apart commandments and were protected mightily.
House. Have you ever stopped to think about what it really means to own nothing? I'm not talking about poverty. I'm not talking about voluntary simplicity. I'm talking about a system where you can't own anything, where private property ceases to exist as a concept, where everything you use, you rent. Your house, your car, your clothes, even the food in your refrigerator. And if you don't pay the monthly subscription, everything disappears. It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's written down. It's published. It's being implemented right now as you listen to these words. In 2020, Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, published a book called The Great Reset. It's not a secret document. It's not something leaked by hackers. It's a book available in any bookstore, translated into dozens of languages. And in that book, Schwab openly describes what he calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution, a complete transformation of human society. He talks about the fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological. He talks about the need to reinvent capitalism. And then comes the phrase that has become the symbol of all this, the phrase that appeared in promotional videos for the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and be happy. When this phrase appeared in 2016, in a video called 8 Predictions for the World in 2030, many people laughed. They thought it was a provocation, hyperbole, an exercise in radical futurism. But then, you start looking at the policies being implemented, the economic models being tested, the technologies being developed, and the phrase ceases to be funny. It becomes prophetic. Or rather, what I mean is, it becomes a warning of what is to come. Let's start with the basics. Private property. For millennia, humanity has operated on a simple principle. You work. You earn, you buy, you own. Your house is yours, your land is yours, your car is yours, and no one can take that away from you without your consent or legal process. This principle is the foundation of human freedom. It's in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 17. Everyone has the right to property. But now, this model is being dismantled, piece by piece, and replaced by something completely different. The subscription model. Have you noticed how almost everything has become subscription-based? Netflix, Spotify, Adobe, Microsoft Office. You no longer buy the software, you rent it. You no longer buy the movie, you pay to watch it temporarily. And this is expanding into areas you never imagined. There are already companies offering cars by subscription. You don't buy the car, you pay a monthly fee and use it. If you stop paying, they remotely shut down the car. Literally. With one click, your car no longer starts. There are already subscription home projects where you don't own, you're a permanent tenant, but without the rights of a traditional tenant. Subscription furniture, subscription clothing, even subscription food, where you receive pre-prepared kits and no longer need to go to the supermarket. At first, this seems convenient. It seems modern. You think, oh, I don't have to worry about maintenance. I don't have to worry about buying new things. Everything is taken care of. But then, you realize the trap. If everything is rented, you never accumulate wealth. You work your whole life, and in the end, you have nothing. Nothing to leave to your children, nothing to sell in an emergency, nothing that is really yours. You become eternally dependent on the system, and the system can disconnect you at any time. Imagine that you publicly criticize the government. You post something on social media that they consider misinformation, and suddenly, your social credit score drops. Your car subscription is canceled. Your home subscription is suspended. You lose everything in a matter of hours, without warning, without appeal. This is already happening in China with the social credit system. And it is being prepared for the West, only with a different guise, a different name, but the same essence. Now let's talk about 15...
So, since Hurricane Melissa, have you been paying a Starlink satellite subscription? Just be vigilant. In times like these, Israel, remember Isaiah 43, 1-3, which says, "But now, this is what the Lord, your Creator, says, O Jacob, and He who formed you, O Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed you from captivity. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior."